Like, bro, if we could guide these youth, or if we had the right people in place to really catch these youth and mold them and guide them the right way, that'd end the cycle. Because it's a cycle. We just keep getting locked up.
Fun fact, what my first tattoo actually has a symbol that says open heart, open mind. Because like you never know. Everyone, like you said, you can't cater, one specific thing to every person. Like someone might need a different way of the way you speak to them, the way you approach them, the way you do certain things, because like everyone's just different.
What episode is this again? 23.
Jordan.
Oh, Jordan? Oh, we got the Jordan episode?
Jordan.
Hell yeah.
Lavell.
Welcome everyone to the podcast, Code 99 Podcast, episode 23, Jordan episode, officially deemed by us. We got two very special guests with us. Our first guests on our podcast, we got Carlton's brother, Val.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me.
And then we got Sprad's girl, Stephanie, joining us today.
Hi, how are you guys?
Ooh, I wish we had like a clap chat. You know the little clap?
Oh, like they're in the track?
Yeah.
I got you. There you go.
So we need to upgrade that next now.
But yeah, so we're here. They're joining us. Val, would you care to take some time and tell us about yourself?
How you doing? I'm Colton's brother. I work as a juvenile detention. I work in the juvenile detention center as an assistant manager. But I'm not doing that. I'm usually just out and about, traveling, trying to see the world. Other than that, trying to stay safe, trying to stay corona-free, and, trying to get with the right people. And now I'm here, about to speak my piece, We all come together in a circle.
I like
So,
that.
yeah.
I like that. Keep it positive.
Yeah.
Stephanie, how about yourself?
Hi, so I'm Stephanie. I'm Rodney's girlfriend. I am a CPP therapist in preventive services. So I work a lot with ACS and, child protective services. When I'm not doing that full time, just spending a lot of time with Rodney and definitely at the gym, and same thing, staying safe and, trying to stay positive and everything with what's going on.
As we all should. Now, Rodney, would you care to explain why we gathered this beautiful bunch of people here today on our episode?
Yeah, sure. So I feel after the year we had in 2020 with the pandemic, the world, especially New York City, there's just been a lot going on with depression, violence, trauma, mental health. And I feel like we have two people who are in two very similar and distinctive fields that can shed the light on that. And I would like to start it off by asking, whoever wants to go first, how do you define trauma? What's your definition of trauma? So I think we should start with Stephanie first.
Okay, so trauma is a very broad term. It can mean anything to anybody. But basically, trauma is either a single event or multiple different events or situations that occur in your life that basically end up, being something so that's using the word traumatic, that becomes something that basically, either cause like depression, flashbacks, you start getting, nightmares, sweats, different symptoms because of a certain event. And it can either be something as simple as your house burning down, and that's a traumatic event, a hurricane, tornado, or something as growing up in a household where, your parent, your caregiver, uses substances and they come back home and, they abuse you. So it can really mean different things for everybody. But it basically just kind of, deters the way you live your life and you see everything in a different way.
Right. And you usually see like people's trauma through certain like triggers. Like we call these things like things that make it like vulnerable for you to be, not at your baseline self. So like, let's say if a certain scent could be a trigger or traumatic for you because of maybe it was your ex-girlfriend's, favorite perfume, and she did something detrimental to you or traumatizing to you, and then you walk past somebody and you can definitely get like you can be triggered because of the scent of of her perfume. It might cause some mixed feelings with you, and that could be traumatizing to you because of however case or whatever she done to you, things like that. And dealing with the youth, that I work with, we see a lot of different uh, traumatic experiences. I mean, a lot of different triggers from these youth because of the traumatic experience they had in their childhood or, from their parents and things like that, things of that nature. Oh, hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Those are great answers.
Yeah.
Carlton, Myron, you guys want to chime in on your definition of trauma?
I mean, I'm not gonna try to out define trauma between two professionals. I mean, they kind of hit it on the tee. I mean, that's the way I see trauma. It could be something that's triggering, or it could just be something that just has happened from like your past. I know I've spoken a couple episodes ago, but like a lot of people from the hood, we have so much like trauma from just a hood, and we don't even know it. Like coming from like just like gunshots, we don't know. We might take the time to count gunshots, or not knowing if it's like those little crackle things back in the day that we used to like pop on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like we try to figure it out. I remember during those 4th of July times. Shit, you don't know what you're hearing at nighttime. You might think it's just fireworks at the night, but you find out people got shot in your building in the morning. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, and those things sit with you, regardless if you know or not. You could tell your story to someone who's not from the hood, and they could look at you quite devastated, like, "Oh my gosh, oh my god, I can't believe that happened to you." And you looking like, "Well, that's like a normal day." So trauma, it could be a lot of things, but that's how I connect to trauma on that.
Same, Stefan Bell, pretty like nailed it on the head. I kind of think I could have defined it any better than they could have. Yeah, trauma it's just something that affects all of us, even if we don't even notice it. So it's good to like, really understand where it comes from and what it is to, just have a better understanding of how to treat ourselves and others, honestly.
And yeah,
You guys pretty much nailed it there. What you were saying, Val?
I mean, I think it's just mainly tapping in with like self-awareness, and knowing who you are and knowing what makes you tick. You know what I'm saying? Being aware that, these things do exist and some people may cause triggers to your traumas and without even intentionally doing it. Like, so it's very important. It's a great topic to be, speaking about.
And I agree. And for those who don't know, I'm in a similar field now as Val and Stephanie. I'm in a shelter system. So the way I look at it is a lot of the issues we have as an adult start from your upbringing, how you were raised, things that were going on in your childhood, were both parents present or not. I think it's interesting because Stephanie, as a child therapist, she's seeing it at the earliest stage, and then Val is experiencing it at I would call it the middle stage, but I feel like it's the stage where all of the bad responses and traumatic effects really take its shape and course, at the juvenile level. And then, like, for myself, I'm in the shelter industry and I see adults, people well enough to be all of our parents' age, even grandparents' age, how like the system has kind of like fucked them up. And it's due to things they experience. So, I'm pretty sure Val and Stephanie know that, we can't get into names and can't provide. We got to be careful on things that we mention as far as like speaking from confidentiality, HIPAA.
We also on the NDAs, right?
But
So I was gonna say, we can start from saying how does the type of trauma and things that go on from a childhood. And I guess we can start from Stephanie since she's dealing with kids up to 5 years old.
Yeah, so I do child parent psychotherapy. So it's a evidence-based modality that basically deals with children ages 0 to 5, so newborns all the way up to the age of 5, where either the parent has experienced some type of trauma that's affecting their parenting, or either the child experienced something that's, affecting them, their development, or, both parent and the child have experienced something that's basically, just not letting them like successfully live life. So basically, what I do is I just come in your home and like support the parents and the children through, just kind of like talking about the unspeakable. So a lot of times, a lot of things that ACS reports, at least to us, and, bring to our agency is that there's a lot of DV situations where kids witness their parents being beaten up. And, it's a very common thing in New York City. And it's sad to say that it's very common in, Black and Brown communities. I deal with families only in the Bronx. So obviously Hispanic, Latinos, Black. So a lot of is what I deal with. And, a lot of parents just want to brush it under the table and kind of not speak of it. But I come in and I kind of just like help them speak the unspeakable and kind of say like, yeah, your child's 2 years old, but, child understands that mommy's hurt or daddy's hurt. I don't want to stereotype and say only women get beaten up, men do too as well. So, we talk about the unspeakable, and children are at an age where, they're very imaginative, they're very creative. So, we speak the unspeakable with toys. We have doll houses, we have Barbie dolls, food, whatever. And, we let the kids express themselves that way through the play. And, you kind of help the parents emotionally understand that the children see what happened and they understand it and they're affected. And, just kind of giving all that support that I can give, connecting them with resources. Not only DV, there's, I have a family, unfortunately, where the husband passed away in the middle of COVID, not due to COVID, just gang violence down in South Carolina. Now she's a single mom with 4 kids, and she has a 5-year-old boy that wants to understand, why daddy can't come home every day. He's processing why he can't see dad. And he's saying things like, we should all die so we can go see daddy. And it's just like hard for like, how does a mom explain that to a 5-year-old? Like, no, we can't do that. Like, that's not possible. Heaven's not a place we can visit. So, just kind of giving a lot of support. And the whole point is that if you start intervention at an early age, it helps them, developmentally get back on track. It helps them succeed again in school. It helps them, do positive things, and they don't end up, doing bad things because of their trauma. So, yeah.
Right.
That was a good one.
So important too. It's like such a vital age to catch a youth, an at-risk youth.
Well, that being said, I feel like in Stephanie's profession, when the lack of support isn't there, a great deal of the time they end up where you're at, Val. So,
Right.
Can you just speak on the lack of support and the effect it has had on the kids on like single parent homes?
Right. So I'm gonna just tap into this first before I go there. Like, so the community we come from, we have like social vulnerabilities. It's like things in our society that make it harder for us to be like to reach our optimum potential. You get what I'm saying? Like, not saying that like it's how you say it, like a just like an alibi for somebody. But these are the different disparities that we have in our communities that make it hard for us. Like such things to be like what we talking about: single parent homes, gang affiliation, you know, poor household income, you know, different things that tanker a youth from really getting the proper resources that he needs. So I mean, I catch these youth at the rebellious ages. I catch these youth at ages where they, you know, really trying to understand themselves and trying to understand the situation and trying to understand what their parents is going through. Um, and try to get them to tie into all the factors um, for rehabilitation back into the community. Because I work with youth that have been sexually aggressive or to other youth or other siblings, and also like youth that also if their parents' rights have been terminated because of you know inappropriate sexuality. They usually come here. The youth with charges, um, the youth that actually get charges, the minimum sentence is like from six to 12, 6 to 12 months. So during that time, we kind of teach them a it's a therapy. We it's a therapy based treatment. It's called dialectical therapy, and it's more based on like communication and you know two things could be true at the same time, not also being one sided. Um, but back to this support. Sorry, back to the support. Back to the community. You know these kids could be misguided. Like you know what I'm saying. If they can't get the support they need at home, they're gonna most likely they'll turn into the streets where you know, it's a lot of misguided things going on. It's a lot of, you know, they listen. They got social media now, um, and it's just a pivotal age for them. You know what I'm saying? Because it really defines who they want to be in life and which way their life turns out. You know, like because um, it's just so easy for youth to commit to throw their lives away. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's always a battle between, you know, being nurtured at home or being nurtured in the streets. Like it's a never ending battle because, you know, one link is missing. The kids go into the community where, you know, they think people really care for them and they really misguided. So I mean, as far as the support, I think we would just have to reinvest into our communities and, you know, do things like block parties, do things like pro social and pro social events, you know, just to bring people together and also help these young black and brown men know that they could be anything. You know what I'm saying? Not just what they see in the streets. Um, and I think it just takes a number of people to come together, people that you know, could really feel where the youth are coming from and what these youth are saying and how these youth are expressing themselves. So, I mean,
I
yeah,
ain't
and that's why.
gonna lie.
Go ahead.
No, it was amazing that you got into that field because you just saying that about how they need someone to connect to. It's like a type of mentorship, and I feel like you know, obviously I know your upbringing. You're my brother, and like I ain't saying you the most gangster, but you know how it is in the streets. We have a father that's been in the streets. We kind of learned about it, and you know how it is. You got people that grew up in your neighborhood, that grew up in our neighborhoods, and stayed there. So I'm like just like I think you have a great position to like help guide those souls, like, and just be able to connect to that mentality and that anger, and guide them outside of that and show them a different life. I think you have a great position. I think you're like a great example of that for sure.
Thank you, bro. And you know, we come from like, you know, we kind of lucky, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, our father kind of put us on to like certain things. So if we seen it, like we knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of had a little guidance ourselves.
That's a fact.
But But you know that, I just think that's the basis of it. Like, bro, if we could guide these youth, or you know, if we had the right people in place to really catch these youth and mold them and guide them the right way, that'll end the cycle. Because it's a cycle. We just keep getting locked up.
Yeah.
We thinning the herd already. We already got mad stuff against us, you know, as black and brown men. So we just, you know, just thinning the herd, and I'm just trying to break the cycle and let them know that we could be anything. We don't gotta beef with each other. We ain't gotta beef over blocks that we don't own, like, you know. So
I hear you there.
I
and
have
I
a question.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Carson. No, go ahead, Carson.
Now there's gonna be another question too. So go ahead. You could do it. To our valued audience members, it'll be an honor for us to get your feedback. And one way you could do that is by leaving us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever you go to listen to them. This not only helps us know what you guys think of the show, but it helps us get some visibility on those platforms. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter pages. We also got TikTok, Facebook. That's where we'll be giving you guys any updates to keep you guys informed what's going on, and also gives us a chance to interact with you guys. So stay tuned to see what we're going to unlock next. Peace.
Oh, my question was going to be, because Val brought up the whole social media, especially nowadays. You know, we're all like, you know, the older generation, or slowly getting there. So how would you explain to someone who doesn't understand how the social media is affecting those youth and keep this, you know, diverting them from the path they should be on?
I think that the information is too accessible. You get what I'm saying? Like, these youth are able to get access to these things. Of like, they able to, at any point in time, they could look on social media and they could see what's going on. They could look at, like, they could just access too much information, and I think it should be tailored. You know what I'm saying? Because I was doing some research, and like, social media kind of gives people a gateway to kind of be who you want to be. You get what I'm saying? And then these kids see these, you know, people that they deem successful, or, you know, things that they used to, or things that they think is the way, because, you know, it's social media. Like, my father could tell me one way, but then I could look on social media and see it for myself. You get what I'm saying? So I think the access to social media is one, and I think that youth looking for like clout or looking for attention is also another factor. It's like, these youth is committing crimes. I mean, well, people is committing crimes and recording it on social media, like
Just to be cool. Yeah, just to get
just
some
to try to
popularity.
get status. Like, people, like, these kids is really out here trying to get status off of, you know, internet validation, and it's like, I don't think you getting enough validation at home, like, or you not getting the validation you need. You know what I'm saying? So you go to the internet, create a whole persona of somebody that you might not really be. But then again, you could be anything you want on the social media. There's so much fake pages on the social media, and then it's like,
True.
then it's
Val ain't lying. I
yo,
wanted to see T.I. so bad.
it's crazy, like.
Oh,
It's crazy. I be thinking about it like, damn, like, am I not smarter than, like, I wouldn't do nothing like that. Like, you know, I be passing my judgment on people, but, you know, that ain't fair to them. But it's just like, damn, that I don't understand how that makes sense to people or to the youth. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I guess I'm older, more mature, so I'm just looking at it like, damn, like, how could we change this? And it's like, it's gonna be a never-ending battle. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I can't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate to say that, but I know I can't give up on them because.
I mean, no one gave up on us. That's why we're here together, right?
Right. That's a fact. So.
Steph, do you want to chime in on the effect social media has on toddlers and big kids?
Oh, let's see. Toddlers and big kids. So, a lot of my moms, I will say that I have a lot of moms on my caseload. They are young moms, 20, 21 years old, and they have, 3 to 4 kids. And it's kind of same thing. This whole thing, you put yourself on social media and you're putting, I just feel like people are trying to grow up too fast. And then they get into these situations and then they're kind of stuck and they don't know, oh, because I love this man. And then a DV situation's occurring and they're not really, being in tune with what really is going on. And then they're posting all these fake things and like they're living their best life. And it's just like, no, you really need to deal with what's going on inside and like your family situation before you put on this like whole fake persona going on. And speaking of just social media in general with like toddlers, like I feel like people are trying to make their kids grow up fast. Like these 2-3-year-olds are being dressed in ways and posted on social media that is like very inappropriate sometimes. And I'm just like, let a kid be a kid. And I see a lot of parents just throwing a tablet into a kid's hand and, I don't want to deal with it. And here you go. And the pandemic was definitely something that, even caused more of that. Here's the tablet, here's the TV, do whatever you want. So parents aren't really parenting as much anymore. And then, these accidents happen and then there's an ACS case and it's like unfortunate. Now you have a case behind your name until that child turns, 18, 28 now, I think it is. So it's kind of like, great. So I just think like people need to dial back a lot on social media and like really be cautious of what you're posting and what you're doing and what you're even searching up. Because the internet is a deep, dark hole. Once you go into one thing, you're finding out more things.
And a lot of people don't know social media is, we think we talked about this too, the social dilemma stuff. There's an algorithm on that. So like if you keep on searching for a specific thing, they gonna Instagram, Facebook, all of them, they're gonna keep on sending you and feeding you that stuff and just feeding it to you. So now you're consuming it constantly, and now what you're thinking is a lifestyle because you look at it every day. This is your mentality every day, and now this is what you believe. And it happens just like that. It's real toxic out there. You gotta be careful with social media.
People be so blinded, right? Like, I seen like a parent on social media seeing their kid crying, right? Give the kid the phone to like give like pick up a tablet, give the kid the tablet so the kid can stop crying. And I'm like, damn, like it's disconnecting people. It's disconnecting families from like intimate love. Like it could be a subtle moment of just, paying your kid attention where parents mess up and they, something happens. So I think it's really, distracting people. And then right on the other note, right, y'all know Pooh Shiesty, the rapper.
I just learned about him the other day.
Right. he robbed some guy, right? He robbed some guy, posted the money on social media. The police ran the tracking numbers of the dollars.
Stupid.
And traced the money back to the robbery.
That's
and I was
insane.
just like, yo, like how stupid could you be? Like social media got people sold, man. Tell you.
And it goes back to what you said earlier, either being nurtured by your parents or by the streets. And it's a sad reality too. I think I can speak for like personal experience. Like I feel like the relationship with my younger daughter, between her and I, and like her mother and I feel like her mother does everything well, but I feel like I excel in the nurturing area more than her mother does, which is okay because it's better her receiving it some and they're not receiving it at all. And like my daughter and I, we have like this close relationship where she asks me questions that I don't even think questions she's not ready to hear the answer to at 7. And then there's questions that I don't even expect, but I try to be as open and transparent with her because they're kids, they're learning on the go, on the fly, even when they're not in school or being forced to have a lesson shoved down their throat. What I would like to ask everyone next, I guess we'll start with Myron. Anybody care to like a personal experience, maybe someone in their family, a close friend, where like maybe they needed that mentorship and it didn't work out for them, or they received that mentorship and their life changed around?
On top of my head, I probably have like a cousin who literally could have had that nurturing, or I don't know, because he's older than me. So obviously I wasn't aware at the time of like what was going on, but I do know what happened afterwards. But maybe he could have used a little bit more nurturing and like a little bit more guidance. But there was a lot of backstory there too that I'm not gonna get into. But he definitely could have used some, and he, people try their best, but at the end of the day, not having that guidance always pulls you back to like what you only know, So
sorry to cut you off. Oh.
No,
I was going to comment. I was going to comment on what Myron is saying is that, well, that's how like gangs start. It's because like these kids don't have anyone to look up as guidance or like get information from. So they start getting information from friends, and then, they're like, oh, I know somebody. And then that's how these gang rivals start, because they have no one in the home to like connect to and like have a relationship with. So they're like, I'm just going to join a gang. So just wanted to comment on that.
I actually got a story about that. I'm not gonna name any names because me and Sprad, we went to school with this kid, but I remember he came in our sophomore year, and our high school was known for like giving mentorships to kids, and changing their lives. Like that was like their sole mission, to go to the inner city youth and to the biggest neighborhoods and try to like change a lot of those mentalities. So this kid, he was blood, and he transferred from one school. I think he went to a private school. I forgot what private school it was, but he went to a private school, and I guess he got kicked out or something happened when he was getting a lot of altercations. It was just dangerous for him, so he got transferred to our school. Me and him was cool only because like we got off the same stop, like so like every day we would go home together and shit. But I got to learn a lot about him. Again, he was like this, he was a blood, and he was already changing. Like he wanted to drop his flag and all this other stuff. He did it. He dropped his flag, and he was like, he wasn't hanging out with the same people anymore. And you see that it was improving with him. But then it was just like one incident. I remember this one incident when we was all at the mall, and there was just 2 other bloods. It was like maybe like 15, 20 of us all in the mall, and then there was like just 2 bloods roaming around, and like there's some people in our school that was still bloods, so like they approach them, they say what's up to each other, blah blah, and then I guess there was action about other people, like if they blood or not. Somebody found that dude told that homeboy dropped his flag and everything, so they pressed him, they jumped him twice, they robbed him for all his stuff. And then they sent him back to the block, and he got to get beat up. And I know this because he told me this, and he got arrested because I asked him if he's alright, and he told me everything that happened. So it just sucked to see like he had to go through that even after he decided to change his life. But fast forward by senior year, like he just I guess he don't have a lot of that support at home. He's always he seemed like an independent dude doing his own thing. He's even when he was in high school, he grown type shit, you know what I'm saying? So he just got back in with the wrong group of friends, and he started skipping school. He started smoking before school, which not bad, but like at that age is pretty bad. And he joined blood again, and I guess that was his way of coping with that. His having people that support him, and that goes back to what I was saying, like it's that support. If you don't have that at home and people telling you that's wrong, you're gonna find it somewhere else, and most likely it's gonna be in the streets. And everybody on the streets gonna welcome you with open arms because they always gonna want to need another soldier. They always gonna want somebody else to help them out. It's a gang mentality. It's a group mentality, and and not for nothing, if you go to those gangs, like, there's a lot of organization. I remember other kids used to have fucking notebooks. They used to take more notes on how to be blood than they used to take notes in fucking school. And it's just like, but it's a whole organization to it, and people believe in that. And once they grab you, and when you're younger, it's easy to, because your mind is just like a sponge. So like you get influenced so easily, and that's the result of it. That's the cycle of it.
I would, yeah, that too. But that even breaks down to who's the top dog, who's your OG, like who brought you in, like who's the big homie of your gang. Because I also experienced and witnessed situations where the top blood member or top gang member was like one of the little gang members. He wasn't going to school, like he was getting in trouble, and I witnessed one of the top blood told him, like, yo, drop your flag, like make sure you go to school. Like if you're not going to school, you don't need to be, you ain't really developing yourself. Like, and I seen it and I was like, damn, like that's kind of powerful to me, because it was like everybody got
Sounds
these kind
like
of
it.
huh?
I said it sounds powerful.
Yeah. Everybody got, certain things with gangs, but it's like some of them is not always what, it's deemed to be, even though like most of the negative kind of things, get publicized. But, it could go either way. You get what I'm saying? And like
Not
I was saying
everybody's a
earlier,
bad guy. Not everybody.
yeah, like you were saying earlier, like
Yeah.
some people don't get understanding when at they home, so they go around a group of people that really understand them, that really gonna help them, that they believe is gonna help them to be better. You know what I'm saying? So,
And it could be the case.
Yeah,
like, again,
yeah.
I know a few people who just like, again, that's just something that maybe be something with family or whatever the case may be, but that's just something that they're a part of. Doesn't mean like they have to fit that description of what a gang member is,
One thing I want to say and then ask is, I want to ask, obviously in Lavell's case, gang violence is big, but I want to ask Stephanie and Carlton and Mara, y'all can share experiences too. How much of a factor is the gang violence and culture in your clients' lives? And the reason why I say that, because yes, you're dealing with kids up to 5 years old, but I remember when I was a tutor for the READ program in the school in Harlem, I had this one little kid, rarely came to school. Obviously there was a lot going on at home with the parents. I didn't know the particular situation. But this boy, first grade, he would come in, and this is the first time I ever seen a kid do this. He came in and he knew every goddamn gang sign. And I'm just like, what? And like he would like, I guess, bully or like intimidate other kids, and he would throw up Crip Killer, and I'm just like, this little boy, like, what does he know about this? He's in this program because, he's having issues reading and putting, simple words and sentences together. But the kid knows every damn gang sign more than I probably knew at that time. So, I would like to start with Steph, and then we can like go around, how big of a factor, if it is, of gang culture in your cases.
I wouldn't even say gang culture. I just think that parents are very, naive, and they like to say that kids don't watch and they're not listening. Like, oh, my kid's in the other room, like they're not listening. Or my kid doesn't know what's going on at the age of like 2 and 3. But then for them, that becomes a normal thing. And they do things like that where they, they don't understand really the meaning behind it. And they see, their parents do it, and I want to be like my mom and my dad, or I want to be like my aunt, my uncle, whoever's in the home, and I'm going to do this, and it's like, no, that's not really something that you should be doing at that age. So it just goes back to like that. And culture wise, it's just like just your neighborhood, like that becomes your culture, that becomes, a lot of people's like reality and a normal routine for them. And it definitely just like influences a lot. So as of right now in my caseload, I haven't seen much about it, but it just goes back like the situation, the example you gave, like kids watch and observe everything and they're very curious and they grasp everything in their little minds. So definitely, parents need to be watching out what they do and say.
Before you guys chime in, can I just say one thing? And Stephanie just made this point. As Blacks and Latinos, we have to stop with the "my kid is not listening." Just because the kid is in the other room does not mean he or she or they are not listening. Like, we really have to stop doing that. Whether it's we having conversations and transactions that shouldn't be going on, or smoking, and obviously you can't listen to someone smoke, but the smell, things like that. I think we definitely have to cut that out and be very more mindful and protective over our kids.
Like, I think that's a great point too, because it's like, as a parent, you gotta kind of be like lead by example at all points, especially when your kid is kind of younger, because it's like your kid is looking at you as the first person they ever knew, right? You're the first person that's really catering to them. You showing them, different ways. You teaching them different things, and they're learning from you every time they're around you. Mind you, you expose your kids to these things. They see you doing it. They gonna gravitate straight towards it because they sponges. They gonna you doing what you doing. You gonna be in the streets. You bring your kids to the streets. You let your kids see what you do in the streets. You creating a lane, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not really giving your kid an outlet. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important. And that's like a catalyst of creating a cycle of like, um, just a cycle of hurt or just misguidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would want. I'm not a parent myself, but I would think that you would want your kid to be like a different, better version of you. You get what I'm saying? Like, at least that's how I would, that's how I think. Um, and
And
it's
that's
just
where that
important,
cycle of intergenerational trauma goes,
right?
where your parents did this and they never bettered themselves, never seeked out counseling, never seeked out any type of help. So that's the only thing your kids know how to do, and they're just passing it along. And we're never going to get better if no one stops that.
Right. And like, there's a kid at my job, right? He's about to get discharged. So, he was on the phone with his mother, and his mother was like, all her kids get all her kids get therapy. You get what I'm saying? And the kid that's in the detention center, he like, yo, like, I don't really want to do the therapy. But the mother was like, look, like, you know what? I was hurting like you at your age. And I didn't have nobody to really talk to, and I didn't really have, a great support system. And she was like, I don't want you to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, like, that's so important for a kid to hear, like, at 13, for a kid to understand, like, the household and why his mother's doing what she's doing. Like, it's breaking that. Like, it's just important, just to better serve your family. Just make sure you could support them as much as it is, because these kids go through mental health issues, all type of issues that we just quick to judge and throw them in a box. You know what I'm saying? So it's a never ending battle, but there is hope.
Myron Carlton?
I have a question actually for Vel, like because I know you deal with youth, but do you ever get to interact with their families or like seeing like the whole aspect of their lives?
So basically, like, when we first get intake of the youth, they give us like their docket, and basically it's like their track record. Basically, um, we read it, we we review it, so we get a sense of where the kid is coming from, what kind of things he did. Then it comes to the point where he's within our care, and then they do like family therapy, and then they have like monthly treatment calls about like how their son is doing. The therapists get on the call, the managers. We get on the call, clinical along with the parents and the psychologist, and we all meet with the youth and the parent. And we talk about the progression of the youth or just any incidents. And then as time goes by, we start to read. We start to give them like day passes. We give them home visits. So during these times, they get 4-hour supervised visits. So it's like they get to go home for 4 hours, and I'll send a staff to go with them and supervise them, and they'll be within their household where they watch the kid, interact with his family, get a sense of where the kid came from, and then also allows the family to prepare themselves for the kid to return back into their home. So yeah, we do. God. Yeah.
That's what's up.
And it kind of makes it easier to understand the kid. You get what I'm saying? Because it's all about really meeting the kid halfway. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to meet them where they at. You know what I'm saying? If you come into the field like thinking like one way line of thinking, like this job is not for you. You know what I'm saying? It's about like, you ever seen like you ever seen like a glacier in the water? Like usually the glacier under it is like kind of big, and what you see over is like kind of minor and small. It's kind of like that. Like what you see is not always
everything
what you get. You get what I'm saying?
There's a lot more to it.
It's a lot of hurt and a lot of trauma, underneath what
Those
you see.
layers,
So
yeah.
So you got to enter it with an open mind and an open heart, because it's gonna be hard for you.
I hear you.
And not
Fun
everybody.
fact. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. After you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fun fact. What my first tattoo actually has a symbol that says "open heart, open mind," because like you never know. Everyone, like you said, you can't cater, one specific thing to every person. Like someone might need a different way of the way you speak to them, the way you approach them, the way you do certain things, because like everyone's just different.
I like that. Open heart, open mind. That's a good one. That's a good way to live. Especially in y'all fields. I respect that highly, because I get stressed too quick, man. I would probably yell at somebody and some shit. I'll hold you.
Oh, I know.
I think I have an open heart and open mind, but I'm not have patience.
You got open tolerance.
Like, fuck this shit. Nah, I respect what y'all do. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of understanding. So
Great.
Salute to y'all with that.
We definitely need bonuses. Like, I definitely feel like this field is very underpaid, but you know what it is? Like, the fulfillment you get of, changing lives is like priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like, you to me, like, you bettering somebody else that had less opportunity. So
I like that.
Yeah, you definitely are enlightening and giving them a positive outlook. Like when their lives are like at the like literally hit rock bottom. Right. I had a mom tell me that the highlight of her week is just meeting with me for 45 minutes.
Nice.
Like that for her is like the best thing ever. And when I tell you, like, just hearing that after like a month of meeting, that definitely like made me realize like this is what I want to do. Because like, trust me, the pay is not even the best. The stress is not even worth, sometimes the hassle we go through, but like just hearing that is just like, okay, I'm in the right place, I'm doing the right thing.
Since we are, talking about a little bit about the mental health, and since y'all are, y'all do have to deal with these cases on a daily basis, what are some of the ways that you guys cope with it, or like, on a day by day after your day's done, and you have to take that deep breath and get ready for the next day. It might have be that hard day, you might have that hard situation. I know Sprout was just saying how like the other day, it got a little crazy at work. Like, how do you release that stress at the end of the day?
I mean, once I clock out, I kind of leave it at work. You get what I'm saying? Like I cater to my needs. You get what I'm saying? After I'm in the house, I'm settled, or like I just
You roll that up, don't you?
I definitely roll me a nice split every time I get off work. As a form of pace breathing, I would say.
Nice.
But I really just do the things that I like to do, honestly, and just reach out to the family, be around the people that, matter the most for me. Like
That's what's up.
you gotta treat yourself good. Like, you can't be out here filling everybody else's cup and nobody filling your cup, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's key.
you know
That's
what I'm saying?
important.
So
All
I
right,
just make go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead, finish, Lavell.
That was a
I just
nice
make
one.
Yeah, I just make sure I repay myself for working so hard, and taking everybody else shit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what's
So
up. Yep.
My question was, do any of the kids or the family set you up at like off the clock, or do you like?
all the time,
Always,
all the
always.
time.
Even weekends.
Cause it's like relationships. Like it's like, yo, like if this kid got a relationship with you, like you probably the only person supporting that kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? We probably the only people that supporting these kids. Like I try to tell these kids, like I seen one of my youth yesterday, right? And I said to him, like, yo, when you in this facility, like when he was in this facility, he hated it so much. I said, yo, you're not gonna be around this much support ever again. So yesterday I seen him. I'm like, yo, who out here caring for you? He's like, nobody, Mr. Giles. Like, I'm like, yo, you hated it there, but you got the most support there. You were supposed to take advantage of it. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, you never know what you might be for somebody. You get what I'm saying? So these kids cherish that. They know who is real, or the family people. They know who's real, and as opposed to somebody just doing a job. You get what I'm saying? They can sense that. So I think that really draws the relationship. Like I know we supposed to be professional too. Like they tell us like we supposed to be professional. Like we're not really supposed to like. It's like a code of ethics that we gotta go by. You get what I'm saying? We ain't really supposed to have no contact with the client when we clocked out. But it's like shit, it's a 24-hour job. You get what I'm saying? Like
They like see you as friends. Like you're literally just another person that, becomes a family member. Like they see you as a family friend and they want to tell you, things. And sometimes they forget that this is like a professional thing. And like after a while, services will end and like I'm going to go and you have to live your life. And for them, it's very hard to see that sometimes. So you just have to constantly remind them like there's a professional relationship between the two of us. And sometimes, we can diverge from that. And maybe it might seem something like family friendship ish, but like it needs to go back to like the agenda that we're here to do.
right.
But I want to answer the last question about like what do I do for self-care.
Yes,
So
please go ahead.
not unfortunately, but like I work from home, so I don't have an office where I can like clock out, detach myself, and kind of relax. I work from home. But what I do is I turn off my phone immediately. Like 6 o'clock, my phone is off. You can contact me the next day. I definitely work out every single morning. Like that kind of gives me a clear mindset and, a nice way to start my day. And then I guess, I just talk to Rodney a lot after work, and we kind of just talk about our day and like situations, and we kind of like vent to each other. And then like once it's over, it's over. Like that's it. No more work conversations, and that's it. So like I feel like that's what I do for self-care.
I like that. I think that working out is key too. Clearing your mind, giving you the energy to even deal with it throughout the day too. That shit is important.
Literally the highlight of my days.
All right. I don't think I have any more questions. Yeah, I got more questions.
I've been enlightened.
Yeah, word.
This has been healthy, like Loaded Luck say, healthy.
Well, because you secretly know what's going on, but like when you bring it onto the table into the light, it's like it hits different. So
Yeah, definitely.
especially growing up where we come from. So
Definitely. And like I just came from like a work conference with like all the juvenile detention centers, like around the nation and stuff. And it's like the same thing is going on like across the nation. Like you think that like it's just like a New York City or your agency kind of thing. And it's like this is nationwide. Like everybody's having the same ordeals, like same issues. Like it's just mind blowing, man.
Yeah, definitely. I went to university in Miami, and I was there for 5 years, and that's where I got my master's and my bachelor's. And like whatever was going on out there when I did my internship is still going on here in New York City. Like that doesn't change anything. Maybe just a little more population, but other than that, it's the exact same issues, same things, families with lack of support, and the system kind of just failing everyone in some way.
Right. You got to make the system work for you. That's what I tell them.
So what can the Code 99 crew do to help y'all cause and helping the children and the inner city youth for making it better for them, making a better life for them? What can we do?
I mean, I think y'all basically doing it. You get what I'm saying? Like y'all sitting down, y'all coming up sharing ideas across the table, y'all building. Every episode, y'all, transferring information. Like that's the basis of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then y'all trying to, reach a bigger platform. So, and they see like people like brown skinned brothers like us doing things that they never seen before, or that people like us don't usually do. So I mean, just keep spreading the word, man. Just keep talking. Y'all talk, man. Keep putting the information in people's ears, because they need to hear it. They need to hear it. Y'all can take over y'all get y'all nice little media, and then y'all just be spreading the word like that. So I mean, this job is kind of like, I think it's like kind of hands on. You got to kind of be in it. You get what I'm saying? But you could always promote resources for the people, like or different things. Like there's different pro social things that that we could be just out here trying to develop for the people. And it could be y'all just speaking it over the airways for somebody to really take initiative and do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely something I know a lot of you guys don't have kids besides Rodney, but like definitely like your children and like your nieces and stuff, just like, inspiring them and like, giving them information and support like that matters, because then that, helps and, breaks the trauma, cycle that we all like live in.
All right. Well, that sounds good to me. I think I could do that. Y'all think y'all could do that?
I do have one question after you, Carlton.
No, that was it. That was all.
I do have one question before we like wrap it up, and then we all give like our final thoughts. Why in the Black and Brown and Latino communities the idea of mentorship and therapy, like it has like this corny or invalid perception, or just like we are so dismissive of it? We can start with Steph and then Val, and then we'll go around to the host.
It's definitely this, I'm Dominican, so definitely like this Hispanic thing where, our problems stay in our house and no one else needs to know about our issues and it stays within us. And, if we tell other people, then they're going to judge us and they're going to look at us weird. So, once you seek out help, you're telling someone outside of the home what's going on. So then, you just keep telling that to your kids. So that's why it's very difficult, I think, for the older generation to like open up and be like, yeah, let me go talk to someone and get, services from different departments and stuff. And then also like therapy. It goes back to that too. Like, you don't want to tell someone else your issues because they're going to judge you. And I think it's just like this fear where like therapy is now this like big thing that, is being very encouraged. And it's just like, that's not a thing that they grew up with. So they're like, what is this? That's weird. So definitely that's a big thing. Like, let's just keep it secret between us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, just to piggyback off that, like, I can remember the first time, like, um, I used to have therapy myself, right? And I used to think that it was so like, it was like, who is this random person? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know this person. And then on top of that, it was just like, I remember older people coming to, before I even had therapy, I remember older people coming to me, telling me things about, like, situations. Like, and I'm like, I just think of it like, yo, y'all from a whole different era. Like, what y'all know about my life? Like, I used to think that older people didn't know nothing about the world. You get what I'm saying? That was just me. Until like the things they was telling me started happening. So I'm like, damn, they really trying to like, they was really trying to aid me instead of just talk to me. I didn't want to listen. I thought I knew everything. You get what I'm saying? A lot of kids think they know everything. A lot of people think that, nobody can't tell them how to live their life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, people think that they know the answers for everything. Like, people want to try to figure out things by themselves. And it's like, nobody ever evolved by themselves. You get what I'm saying? Nobody really ever did it by themselves. Nobody made it through life by themselves. Like, everything is interconnected. You get what I'm saying? So it kind of started changing my perspective. Like, instead of me like dismissing people, it changed my mind to think like, what can I get from people? What lessons can I learn from people? So I think, just to generalize it, is just like, it's so important to really, just seek guidance. You know what I'm saying? Also too, one time I was in like a class with like convicts, right? And not convicts, but they was released. They was ex-cons basically. And we had to write like about the times we had got put behind bars. Right. So it was this guy, he had to be like 60s. He was like 60, he did like 30 years. He did like 30 years. So, but he was like the proofreader of everybody's essays about their time. So it was one point in my essay that I wrote like, I never forget how um the sound of the jail cell doors closed. Like, the way it sound kind of shook me because I never heard a door close like that. And I was like, damn, like, I'm really in here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm writing this. I'm like, yo, that was enough for me to figure out what kind of person I want to be. So as he's reading it, right, he like, yo, it took me 10 years in jail just to figure this out. And I was like, huh? He was like, yo, it took me 10 years in jail to figure out what kind of man I want to be. And I was like, damn, he's 30 years older than me, but he's relating to some experience that I went through. And I'm like, damn, like, the power of storytelling and the power of like just listening and figure out where people is from could go a long way. So I think it's important to and just therapy in itself is like, people thought it was weak. Like, people thought, you even saying how you feel, black man, you even saying how you feel makes you weak. And that's a heavy condensation. That's a heavy stigma on black and brown men. It's like we talking to these people and it's like they gonna judge me. You know what I'm saying? And then also too, I think we need more mentors and therapists of color, black and brown, to relate. You get what I'm saying? Or just to understand. It'd be easier for them to understand. They could catch things. So yeah, I think mentoring is important for the community. It's like passing a baton. It's like passing a torch to the next culture, to the youth.
Myron
You
Carlton.
go, Myron.
No, I'm just I mean, like you guys, like we all just like nailed it on the target, bro. Like I don't even know what else to say, to be honest. Because y'all like knocked it out the park so well and answered all my questions.
Yeah. I mean, anything I'll say is just reiteration. Honestly, it's just an embarrassment. It's just like I think it's a pride thing. It could be a little ego. People from the hood, we get ridiculed. Black and brown people, we grow up having to be perfect. We can't have issues. We can't be sick. We can't be hurt. So like to admit that you need a therapist or you need somebody to help you is kind of like, we might see that someone looking down on us, or we might have an issue that you want to like address, or whatever the case may be, because you don't want to be seen or deemed as crazy or whatever for doing it. That's far like when it comes to like therapy and whatnot. But mentorship, I think that's more of a prideful thing. A lot of people came from broken homes. I mean, I had a father, so I know like when people try to father me, I'm like, nigga, you're not my father. Like, respect that. You know what I'm saying? So like. But I did also have a mentor, and he just showed me like different things in life. And like I was saying earlier, you need that help. No one did it alone. So, and every step in the way. That's why I came together with my brothers and try to fucking make a podcast. Because I'm like, I could do this on my own. I could learn this shit. I could do this and that. But shit, moving forward, I ain't gonna be able to do this on my own. I'm gonna need help, and I'd rather do it with people that I can trust. I think you just have to identify and just not have immunity. But just growing up, you get ridiculed from that. You be even from in school, just like people just make fun of you for the littlest things. So like that just travels with you moving forward
Damn,
when it comes to therapy and mentorship.
Bro, you made me think of this quote that I heard. It's quote. It goes, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together."
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact,
I
man.
can relate to that.
So I think it's all about practice. It's all about like I said, awareness of the fact, and just practicing humility, practicing teamwork, practicing just working together, and just like understanding that you can't be Superman. No one could be Superman or Superwoman, or Wonder Woman, if you want to call it. Like everyone gotta help each other, especially and what we talk about as far as the trauma and the cycles that goes through in the streets. Like it really is up to us, to be honest. Our high school was prime examples of how Al can help too, and then their jobs, Stephanie and Lavell jobs, are like great just great roles that you can be a part of to help that as well. But it just takes more of that. It takes more like volunteering work. But it could be achieved, all of it. I think it's also just a lack of education. You hear therapy and mentorship growing up, people don't want to listen to it. But if you see, like it said, if you share the stories and you have the people around you tell you that's okay, then it'll encourage the younger population to do it. That's all I gotta say. I'm done. I think we cracked the code.
It can be achieved, and it will be achieved. Before we get into that, any last thoughts, Myron? Any last thoughts, statements?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm chilling.
Val?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me, man. It was a pleasure, man. Appreciate what you guys is doing, man. Just keep up the great work.
Thank
Don't
you.
stop.
Steph? Sorry.
No, just, thank you for giving us a platform to talk about what we do and just, spreading the word, because there's a lot that needs to be fixed, and this is the time to do it.
I'll give my last thoughts before we close out. It can be achieved. It will be achieved. Um, as I started off saying, I feel like it all starts at home, and unfortunately, I feel like a great deal of the issues and the stuff that our kids are soaking up is from advertising. They're not. It's not enough advertisements about mentorship and therapy. So I think that's why they have like the stigmatism of being corny. Like that's why they perceive that way. Um, Anyone who's going through any personal issues, stress, depression, I'm advocate. Please seek help. Go see a therapist. I did the same thing last year. It was the best 10 months of my life, and I'll continue co-signing the importance and effectiveness of therapy. Um, you don't have to be afraid. I was afraid, so I can understand from that aspect. I went right on Google. I typed my insurance in, see which agencies and therapists accepted my insurance, and then I went from there. I contacted them via email, and they contacted me within 24 hours, and that was the start of my 10-month process journey with therapy. Um, Carlton, we spoke on this a couple episodes ago, and us being the age we are now, like sometimes you have to go through, I guess, growing pains and maturity to understand the importance of certain things, and specifically like the importance of our high school and what their mission was, and like us being just hitting 30, our early 30s, and Steph is still in her 20s, youthful. So we. As as a soon to be 30-year-old man, I can just see how like what David Banks, Aaron Barnett, Mr. Ruff, like why they was pushing us so hard, and I feel like it's so obvious and apparent in everything that's going on in the world. So my last message is, for those who need parenting classes or help, reach out to someone. Those who are struggling in school and they don't know what direction they're headed in and they're feeling directionless, reach out to someone. It's never corny. It's never an immature thing to, reach out for help. And, I'm someone who can definitely co-sign that as well. With that being said, that was Code 99 Podcast. 3 guys, 1 code. Check us out next time.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and everything else.
On Twitter, TikTok,
TikTok,
Facebook, Instagram, at Code 99 Podcast. It's your boy Carl G.
It's your boy Sprite.
Your boy Myron.
And our
Boy
two.
Val.
There you go.
And Steph.
Yeehaw.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank
awesome.
you guys. Y'all are awesome. Our first guest.
Really?
Yeah, first guest. Round of applause. Y'all will always have that honor.
Yes. Hopefully we could do it again sometime too, man. Definitely cool, man.
Peace.
Peace.